Giggly Gorilla Studios coming at you live from the trees of Arrowhead Stadium where no one can catch a damn football.
Absolutely nobody. It was disastrous. What's up?
Not much. How's it been? It's been a few weeks.
It has been a few weeks. This is our first time recording together again in a while. It feels good. It also feels good because football is back.
Oh yeah, baby.
We had NFL Week 1. Even though it is currently the beginning of the next week of the NFL, this is when Braden and I could sit down and record to talk about football being back the first week. We're going to recap games, probably go on tangents. It's going to be great. I'm so excited that NFL is back. It's my favorite time of year.
I'm hoping the Patriots look better. I mean, they didn't even look bad in Week 1. I can't even say
they didn't look that bad.
I can't even say that. I hope they look better. I hope they just make less mistakes, especially in the red zone. The red zone offense has to get better. That's like the main thing right now. But anyway, we'll talk about that game a little later. We'll start with the Thursday game, the Chiefs-Lions opening game of the season. And like you said, it was a disaster.
It was a good game in terms of just competitiveness and like it being close. But I wouldn't say it being the first game of the season aside and just the overall hype of football being back, it was that much fun to watch. Both teams looked pretty sloppy.
Yeah, it seemed like they progressively got more sloppy as the game went. Like, the first quarter felt like the smoothest, and there wasn't even a penalty until, like, late second quarter, which surprised me, because I'm used to seeing flags fly everywhere, like, throughout the entire game.
Yeah. Well, the Chiefs, like, right tackle was offsides, or, like, false starting literally every play, and the refs were not calling that shit. They called it once at the end that actually ended up being, like, a big call. But that boy was getting off early, and he was, I think he was, like, standing too far back from the line of scrimmage or something. It was very weird. But, we just talk about how wild it is that the Detroit fucking Lions were playing the season opener for the NFL season. That is crazy to me still. I mean, I know there's a lot of hype on the Lions and stuff, but I would have never expected Detroit to be one of the focal points of the season opener.
Oh, me either. I'm surprised Detroit was the team they picked to open the season with KC. And I'm surprised they won. Even without Travis Kelce, without Chris Jones, I was expecting the Chiefs to take this one, and they did not.
I think I did expect the Chiefs to win, but as we found out Travis Kelce's not playing, I started to believe more and more that the Lions could do it leading up to the game. And they did. I do think, I'll just say, other people have said it, if Travis Kelce is playing in this game, the Chiefs win. There's not even a question in my mind. I thought the Chiefs survived pretty well without Chris Jones, though, at least in this one game. I didn't feel Chris Jones' absence. It seemed like they were still getting decent pressure on Jared Goff. And maybe some of the runs he would have helped stop, but at least in terms of just the overall feel of the game, I didn't notice Chris Jones' absence nearly as much as I did Travis Kelce's absence.
Yeah, me either. The defense was still doing pretty good all the way around. Like you said, they were still bringing crazy pressure on Goff. And let's talk about Gibbs for a minute. I think Gibbs has a lot of potential, dude.
I think he has potential too. I watched him a little bit at Alabama. He was very good, but it's kind of hard to tell when players are playing in a system and an organization as good as Alabama, if it's going to translate to the NFL because they're surrounded by so much talent.
Like Matt Jones.
But, he was the 12th overall pick in the draft, which I thought was high for the Lions to take a running back at that spot when they have holes in their receiving core and especially in their secondary, which I think, especially early on in this game, was very apparent that the Lions secondary was still not playing up to par where they want to be if they're going to be a great team.
I mean, even later on, the secondary didn't have, mad coverage a lot of the game. It's just the Chiefs receivers couldn't catch a ball, so they caught a bit of a break there.
But no, Jahmyr Gibbs was awesome. He broke, I forget the exact stat, he broke so many tackles in this game. In just one game.
Yeah. Dude, that one play, he broke 3 tackles, and he hit a spin move, stopped, and then hit another one back the other way. I was like, what the heck is this man made of, bro? That was insanity.
Yeah. He's going to be really, really good. I think the Lions should feel happy about it. I do think they need to continue and even amp up his usage as like a receiver.
Yeah.
Out of the backfield, because Amon-Ra St. Brown is great. I love Amon-Ra. But other than that, the Lions have really nobody in their receiving core. Jamison Williams, who they drafted like 2 years ago, is suspended because of gambling right now. When he comes back,
the rookie tight end they have looked like he might have some potential too. He made some big catches.
Yeah, he looks good. It's nice to get someone like that, especially giving up T.J. Hawkinson last season to the Vikings, who was one of the best tight ends.
They let him go, man.
I know that was crazy to me, but I'm very excited to watch Jahmyr Gibbs in this offense. I thought he was awesome. Made a lot of cool plays. Trying to think, Mahomes, even though players were clearly dropping his balls, I still don't think played that great of a game.
Didn't play that bad of a game either, though. I think he did probably the best he could with what he had to work with.
That's fair. I mean, there were
receivers weren't just dropping passes; they were dropping wide open passes.
Yeah. No, when they were trying to drive late in the game, and he threw a pass literally like 25 yards down the field, wide open to Kadarius Toney, and it just dunks off his hands. I was like, "Oh my god." That is insane.
Yeah, there's only one of those drops I understood from Toney. It's like where it was going to him, but it was a crossing route. So, like, I could see him thinking it was going to the other receiver. And him like, oh shit, fumbling the ball. The other one's unacceptable, man. You're a receiver in the NFL. You can't drop wide open passes like that.
Yeah. And I've been a supporter of Kadarius Toney. I think he has potential to be a cool player because of his speed and elusiveness in the open field. But, like, you gotta catch the ball to be able to use that speed and your elusiveness and make plays happen. So, it's definitely a question mark. I think Kansas City's entire receiving core is a question mark. But if Travis Kelce comes back healthy, I think that alleviates a lot of that stress and those issues because he's going to catch 10 passes every game. He's just such a big target, and he's going to free up other guys more. But it was very apparent in this game that their receiving core was struggling.
Yeah, it's like they were saying on commentary, like in third, fourth down situations, like if Kelsey's there, they know who they're throwing the ball to. Kelsey wasn't there, so they didn't really know who they were going to in those big situations.
Yeah. No, for sure. Brian Branch, another Lions rookie, had a pick six in this game. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Off Kadarius Toney's hands.
I was about to say, that one got tipped too, so it wasn't even entirely Mahomes' fault.
Yeah. I think he's going to be good. I heard, just because I'm from Michigan, so I hear more about like Lions stuff. They liked him in camp. He's also from Alabama, so the Lions were just taking all the Alabama players in this draft. But he's going to be good for them.
To do. It didn't really work out for them after Brady left.
Yeah.
Hey, Jared Goff's been to a Super Bowl, though. Can he take the Lions, baby?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think regardless, you love this win if you're the Lions coaching staff because you got the win against the defending champs and a brewing dynasty in the league, but you still feel like you can play better. Like, clearly the Lions did not play their best game.
You probably like the win, but you're probably still upset with the performance.
Yeah, but it's good as a coach to like be able to have stuff that you can point to and say we have to clean that up. When you have the guys that you know can play better, it's different.
And just knowing that you didn't play your best and you still beat the defending champs, that has to be a pretty high to be on.
Yeah, and if you're the Chiefs, I wouldn't worry about it too much. If struggles continue, then
you still got Patrick Mahomes at quarterback.
Yeah, like they're gonna figure it out. I just believe that with Mahomes, Kelsey's gonna come back. It should be fun. But that's about all I have to say for that game.
Free agency is still a thing. Trades, the deadline isn't until like week 9. They got plenty of time to make adjustments if need be.
Yeah.
All right, so on to Sunday, the Sunday games. I guess we can go from one rookie running back to another. Falcons Panthers.
Okay, I watched a bit of this game live.
I watched the highlights. I watched the Saints-Titans game live at this point. and
God,
it was not a good game.
I have literally nothing to say about that game, so I'll let you talk about that game when we get to it. But Panthers Falcons, I thought was kind of an interesting game. Not only was this Bijan Robinson's first NFL game, it was Bryce Young's first NFL game, the quarterback of the Panthers. He threw 2 interceptions, both to Jesse Bates. I think it's easy to look at the stat lines and say, like, tough game for the rookie. Like, ooh, is he a bust? Like, I watched the tape or, like, watched the game. I thought he looked fairly comfortable in most moments, and I thought there was a lot of good stuff there. There's clearly some rookie interceptions are bad. Like, he didn't play a great game, but I think there's still something there with him, at least as you progress through the season. That's kind of my take on that. Bijan looked awesome. They should have used him more than they did.
He's got that 99 overall juke move.
Dude, that juke was so nasty. I saw that happen. I was like,
bro, he literally just broke one dude's ankles, then like ran between 2 defenders and got into the end zone.
2 guys. Yeah. No.
That was crazy.
Bijan's going to be really, really good. As long as he stays healthy. Obviously, there's a workhorse, like receiving, running, doing it all thing that can get you in trouble as a running back. But
he didn't get a lot of carries, though, and neither did Gibbs in the Lions game. So I feel like both of those teams are probably trying to kind of conserve the usage of their rookie running backs and like really let them go come mid-season to late season, like when shit's really like on the line.
Yeah, I feel that. The Falcons also do have, I mean, their backup Tyler Algier is like not a bad running back.
Yeah, he had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, much to the dismay of Bijan fantasy users.
Yeah, I know, right?
But
no, their run game is pretty strong. The Falcons' run game is pretty strong.
The Falcons' run game is pretty strong. I could totally see the Falcons winning this division just because it is such a weak division.
Like preseason, I said I think it was between Carolina and New Orleans. I'm not counting Atlanta out of that. I would only be surprised if Tampa Bay wins the division again.
Yeah, I agree. For the Panthers, I think it was definitely a tough game, but I don't think there was like no positives, and I don't think the Panthers are going to be great by any means, but I think there's still plenty there for them to be competitive in this division.
Yeah, I don't think any team in that division is going to be great, but
I agree. Desmond Ridder looked surprisingly okay. I've been very like he's not going to be good.
Yeah, I'm surprised how good he actually looked in that game because Carolina's defense isn't that bad. Like it's not like top tier, but it's not like bottom tier either. It's kind of middle of the pack defense.
Yeah, I mean he only threw the ball 18 times, which that's all he had to do to win the game.
They still won by 2 possessions, man.
Yeah. I think there is definitely stuff to look forward to in Atlanta. I still think you need a better long-term option at quarterback.
Oh, definitely.
But they've got playmakers on offense. Kyle Pitts continues to be underused at tight end, but he's good. He has talent. Bijan now, Drake London, wide receiver. Who knows how good he's going to be. There's stuff to work with there. I don't think, like you said, any team in this division is going to have a great season, but they didn't look bad week 1.
Yeah, I guess we can just continue talking about this division. Let's go ahead and talk about the Saints-Titans game. I'm just going to say, Tennessee should have won this game.
That's kind of the vibe I got from what I saw. I mean, I watched some of the highlights. I watched, like, how the score was happening. I was like, it just kind of looks like an ugly game.
It was a very ugly game. There was I think this is the entire reason the Saints won the game, and it was a BS call. So Derek Carr was going for a pass, and it got knocked out of his hand. The ball got knocked loose from his hand before he was making forward progress. So it was clearly a fumble. Clear as day a fumble. He was just pushing a loose ball forward. This is what the commentator said. That's what the review booth said. The referees, after Mike Vrabel challenge, still ruled it an incomplete pass. And they whistled it dead. Kevin Byron took it back to the house, but they whistled it dead, which you're not supposed to do in that situation.
Right. Because you can always bring something back.
Exactly. The technology they have, you can just review it, and if it was an incomplete pass, bring it back. But it was clear as day a fumble. It still got ruled an incomplete pass, so the Saints got a field goal off of it right before halftime. It was tied 9-9. Then the Saints got the first touchdown of the game, the only touchdown of the game, and they won by 1 point because of it. Derek Carr didn't look awful, but the Saints, kind of like the Patriots, their red zone offense, not that good.
Yeah, I think if you're like both of these teams a fan, you wanted a stronger showing. It just looked very ugly from what I saw.
Other than Derrick Henry and Kevin Byard, like that Tennessee teams, I know they got D-Hop, but if Ryan Tannehill is just going to throw picks, it doesn't really matter that you got an elite receiver, which D-Hop's getting older, so maybe you can't categorize him as elite anymore, but he's still top of the pack.
He's still very good.
Yeah. Like, it's not going to matter, but they got Derrick Henry, but you can't just depend on Derrick Henry in a game, so the Titans are kind of in trouble.
I think they are, and they really do not have another option at quarterback, especially not for this year. They have some young guys they've drafted, but I don't think from what we've seen of any of them, they're good at all, mainly Malik Willis. He got playing time last year and was very bad. So
they're probably on Tom Brady's doorstep begging him to come out of retirement. Tom!
Yeah. Please, save us.
You said you wanted to play until you were 50, come on! He's like, nah, bro, I'm done. I had a retirement ceremony in New England. I'm out. Okay. And I guess we can cap it off with the last game that this division featured. The Buccaneers and Vikings. Now, I watched, none of this game. I know Kirk Cousins did his usual Kirk Cousins stuff. Like, he had some good plays, some good throws, and he had some dumb turnovers.
Yeah. He threw for 344 yards, which is, typical Kirk Cousins stuff,
literally
crazy yardage, but didn't win the game or had a bad pick. Justin Jefferson had a great game, 9 catches for 150 yards. That's just what we expect from him at this point. I still don't know how the Buccaneers managed to win this game, to be honest. I did not think they were going to be good at all coming into this season. Baker, from what I saw, didn't actually look that bad, which we'll see if that holds up or how long that holds up.
I don't know how much of this is true, but Andrew told me that he saw something with Baker towards halftime, on the sideline, saying he knows the Vikings hand signals. So anytime they would hand signal, he would audible the play because he would know what coverage they were in. So that's a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about the Baker hand signal stuff as well. I saw it on Twitter, I think. That's definitely interesting. Obviously, that can sway a game if you figure something like that out.
If that is true, though, that's insane. Maybe I gave Baker, too little credit. If he noticed those hand signals, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. He has experience. He has had good seasons.
He's a veteran at this point, yeah. He's been in the league a few seasons.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll see a little Baker revitalization. I still think the Buccaneers don't have enough there to be competitive, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I was surprised the Bucs won this game. It was against the Vikings, though, so I wasn't, super shocked because the Vikings were the Vikings.
Right. Yeah, the Vikings do stuff like that.
Okay, another game we probably won't have much to talk about, Texans-Ravens. I saw none of this game.
I saw a little bit. Baltimore looked good. They didn't look great. Their running back, J.K. Dobbins, had a Achilles tear or an ACL tear again, which sucks for them. He's just had injury problems his whole career. I liked him at Ohio State, and since he's been in the league, it's just been injuries. He is talented, but at this point, with another massive injury, I don't know if he's ever going to amount to anything. Aside from that, the Ravens are just better than the Texans. The Texans, I think, will be improved this year from what they have been, but they're still nowhere close to where they need to be.
I was shocked to see that the first half of this game was as close as it was.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's probably, I do like the Texans' new head coach, who was Sam Brand, defensive coordinator. I think he's going to do a lot of good stuff to keep them in games.
He also used to play for the Texans.
Yeah.
And he played for Philly. He played for your team, too.
Yeah, my Eagles. But no, the Texans still have a long way to go. CJ Stroud did not play that great. He is a rookie, so who knows? But yeah, I expected the Ravens to win, and they did.
Yeah.
Lamar played fine. Nothing crazy, nothing bad.
Yeah, CJ Stroud's probably he'll have to step it up a bit. It's just his first career game, so I don't take too much away from it. It's kind of like Bryce Young in the Panthers game, it's their first game ever in the NFL, so you can't really take it to heart.
Yeah, for sure.
You just gotta hope they get better.
Of course, yeah. That's always the hope, but I'll give them time, for sure.
Yeah. Bengals-Browns. Oh, man, dude. This game was dog water, and I am shocked that the Browns destroyed the Bengals the way they did.
I cannot believe this game went the way it did.
Me either. I was expecting it to, first of all, be closer. Second of all, have a different outcome.
Yeah. I am not shocked that the Browns won the game.
Me either. I'm shocked that they won by 3 possessions, though, and only allowed Cincy to score 3 points.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna come out and say it. A lot of this, Joe Burrow played awful. And I still think he
did not play well under that Browns pressure. They got a lot of pressure on him a lot of the game, and he did not play well.
Which, that's always been Cincinnati's weakness in the Joe Burrow era, has been protecting him, offensive line. So it looks like those struggles are continuing. Granted, Cleveland has one of the best defensive lines in the league, so it makes sense that they'd struggle in particular, but Burrow's always found ways to work around that. So this was kind of a unique game in where they just could not get anything going. He didn't even throw for 100 yards.
Dude, he only had 80, he only threw for 82 yards, and how many times did he get sacked? I don't know what the Bengals, total offensive passing yards was, because, every time he got sacked, that was just, it doesn't apply to his yardage, but it applies to the team's. Right. So, their passing yards was probably, 30 or 40 something, which is insane in today's NFL.
Yeah. Crazy.
You gotta get, I know we all knew the Browns' defensive line was nasty, but you still gotta give them props. That is insanity.
Yeah, of course. I don't know, maybe the Browns are gonna be better than I expected.
That's what I'm thinking. Because I think I had them finishing last in that division, but now I'm thinking, I'm thinking they'll at least finish above the Steelers.
Yeah, I agree. Watson looked good-ish. I mean, he still...
Yeah, he didn't look elite or great. He didn't look like he was with the Texans. Not yet, anyway. But he looked better than he did at the end of last season, most definitely.
Yeah. He did have one just insanely, bad interception that I had no idea what he was looking at.
He threw a really good ball, too. It, went between 2 defenders and, right into a receiver's hands. I'm like, okay. That was, shades of the old Deshaun Watson. That Cleveland wants back.
No, he made some good throws. He had a rushing touchdown, I believe.
I know he did a QB sneak on the... Well, not a QB sneak. It was a read option, actually, on the 2-point conversion at the end of the game. He faked a handoff to Chubb, and then he ran with it. Which, read options are going to be so nasty when you got Nick Chubb in the backfield with you.
Yeah. Read options are going to be good. If he can get back to a level of play similar to what we've seen with the Texans, I just didn't think that he could based on what I saw last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I was the same.
That team can be good. That team can be pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see if this continues.
Yeah, maybe it'll be 3 teams competing for that division instead of just the 2, like we thought. We thought it was going to be between the Ravens and Bengals. The Browns might be in that mix. Who knows? The only thing I'm worried about with the Browns is them staying consistent, because we've seen that in the past with the Browns. They'll ball out a game or 2, and then they'll just be the same old Browns.
Mm-hmm. As far as the Bengals concerns, they played really poorly last year in week 1 as well, not this poorly.
No,
but
they played the Steelers, and that game went into overtime, and I thought it was going to end in a freaking tie until the Steelers mercifully ended it with a field goal.
Yeah, but that team just has too much pedigree and experience to not figure out how to win again this season. Their roster is still good. They still have Joe Burrow. He's going to bounce back. I fully have confidence in that. It's a rough start to the season, but I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so too. And it looks like Okay, we got three more noon games here. So, Jaguars, Colts.
Okay.
Now.
This was actually one of my favorite games of the week.
I only saw the highlights, but yeah, it looked pretty crazy. I was surprised it was as close as it was.
Yeah. Honestly, Anthony Richardson had the best week one of all the rookie quarterbacks.
I'd agree with that.
He looked good. He did get injured late in the game, but I think it was just took a bad hit. Probably gonna hurt when he woke up, but I think he'll be fine. He is gonna have to learn to protect himself because he's another one of those big body, mobile, athletic quarterbacks that are just gonna take hits.
Yeah, I chose the Texans to beat the Colts in week 2, but I'm really not sure about that pick at all, especially if he's playing and he is 100%. He looked promising. He looked promising to Indy in that game. So I think Indy should be happy with that draft pick.
I think they should too. He looked promising. There's been comments made about his excellent work ethic, so I think they should be happy. Trevor Lawrence played really well. He played about how I expected he would. Not a perfect game by any means, but he had 2 touchdown passes, and both of them were pretty nasty. He had one Mahomes.
He only had 8 incompletions, didn't he? He played pretty good all the way around.
Yeah, he was very efficient. 2 great touchdown passes. A throw to Calvin Ridley that was crazy, where it literally snuck right by 2 Colts defenders that were going for the ball, and somehow just ended up in Ridley's hands.
I think
so happy.
I think late last season is when Lawrence finally entered his prime, and I think he with this game he's just keeping that going. He looked really good. The interception he threw wasn't entirely his fault. Mahomes in the Lions game, it got tipped off the defender's hands. So it just happens.
It does happen. I thought he looked really good. I thought he picked up right where he left off at the end of last season. And I think the Jaguars are going to be really good. Calvin Ridley had...
I do too. They should win that division easily. They don't got any competition.
Yeah. Calvin Ridley, at least in the first half especially, looked awesome. They've got to be happy to have him on the team.
Definitely.
There was a crazy play in this game where...
Oh, yes.
Trevor Lawrence got...
Yeah, I was going to say, was Lawrence the one that fumbled?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So someone hit him as he was lining up to throw. It was a fumble, but it was one of those where it's was his arm moving forward? Is it an incomplete pass?
Much like the Derek Carr throw in the Saints game that they whistled dead. They did not whistle this one dead because the referees actually knew how to officiate.
Yeah, and because they didn't whistle it dead, a Jags player picked up the ball.
Dude, this was so funny to me. I was rooting for the Jags in this game, but this was still hilarious. This was a hilarious moment.
A Colts player...
He was just standing with it in his hands, bro. He just, was holding it. No whistle was called. A Colts defender just knocks it out.
Yeah, and DeForest Buckner takes it to the house.
Dude, I love how when the ball hits the ground, all the Jags players are still standing still. Lawrence is still on his knee, just kind of looking the fuck's going on? And all the Colts players just jump on that thing. DeForest Buckner takes it to the house. I'm what are you doing, Jaguars?
No, that's going to be one thing the coaches, Doug Peterson, is upset about, and it's going to be something that the Colts coaches are going to show players for years to come. Don't give up on the play. Finish it out.
That was probably the most insane moment of week 1.
Yeah. Other than maybe the Monday Night Football punt return.
That's true.
But that was an insane play. But the Jaguars still were able to...
Just everything about that Monday night game was insane. We'll get to it in a moment, but God, that game was insanity all the way around.
But no, the Colts looked better than I thought they would, and the Jaguars wasn't a perfect game by any means, but they won by 10 points. Trevor Lawrence looked really good. I think you're happy with it if you're a Jags fan overall.
Definitely. All right. Another game we probably won't talk that long about. 49ers, Steelers. I think this game went pretty much how most people probably expected it to go. I
didn't expect it to be this lopsided.
Me either. I expected the 49ers to, like, not score 30 points because I think the Steelers' defense is good, but the Steelers' offense had a lot of turnovers against that 49ers' defense, and the 49ers' offense, just the way they're constructed, don't make many mistakes. So you're in trouble when they get a lead. You're in big trouble when they get a big
They're
lead.
extremely efficient. They just ran this game from the start. There was a quote from Trent Williams, the 49ers offensive lineman, where he was like, dude, our defense was beating the Steelers offense so bad that at one point I was hoping the Steelers would get something going just so we could rest. Like, just so the offense could get a breather because they were just on the field so much. Completely dominant performance by the 49ers. I would say they look the best of any team in this first week.
I
don't think many teams look great exactly, except for the 49ers. The Cowboys had a really good game, but there's some caveats to that.
Bro, Christian McCaffrey popped off in this game. He had 22 rushing attempts for 152 yards and a touchdown. That's just crazy to get 150 yards, man, in a game.
Yeah. The touchdown was insane, too. It was like 65 yards. He, like, spun out of traffic. He's such a good player. If he can stay healthy, you know that team's going to be in the running for the number one seed easily.
Yeah. He stayed healthy last season with San Fran, so I'm hoping that San Francisco, has better protection on him than Carolina did, because he got injured every season with that team.
Yeah. As far as the Steelers, I would have liked to see them be a bit more competitive. I still think the 49ers are just a great team, and that the Steelers are going to be around the 500 mark again, like competitive in
Mike
games.
Tomlin's their coach. They're going to pull out some wins. Even against teams that they shouldn't win against, they're probably going to eke out a win or two against those teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, 49ers, just a different animal, man.
They're crazy. Yeah.
And the last early Sunday game was Cardinals-Commanders, game of the year.
God. The Cardinals were winning this game for a substantial portion of it.
I was surprised. Look, I know the Commanders suck too, but I fully expect the Cardinals to be the worst team in the league this year. So I was shocked that they were actually winning this game for as long as they were. I was like, what are the Commanders doing, dude? But the Cardinals did have a fumble recovery for a touchdown, I believe, so that's a big part of why they had the lead.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is a game to be happy about no matter what side you're on. I mean, if you're a Commanders fan, a win is a win, but you barely scrape by what everyone is projecting to be the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
Given the hype on their quarterback, Sam Howell, I think you would have liked him to have a stronger game. It is week one. Obviously, teams can improve, but I didn't think the Commanders were going to be great in general this year. So it kind of adds up, although I'm still surprised it was as close as it was.
Yeah, same. All right, I guess from two shitty teams to two other shitty teams, but not as shitty teams. The Raiders and Broncos.
Yeah. Weird game. Russell Wilson actually had a really good first half. Stats-wise, he was like super efficient. He had 2 touchdowns, I think. And then it kind of just all fell off in the second half. I mean, this was a 17-16 game, so very defensive, not really high scoring either way.
Yeah, it kind of... I had a little... I didn't have high hopes for the Broncos, but I had a little more hope with Sean Payton coming in. I was hoping that their offense would do more, that, their games wouldn't be so low scoring, but I don't know. It's just week one, but it kind of seems like it's the same old Broncos that we saw last season.
Yeah, it is week one. I trust Sean Payton, but there didn't seem to be a lot there. Didn't Jacoby Myers have like 2 touchdown catches?
He did. He had both the touchdowns from Jimmy G.
Yeah, that's interesting.
2 former Patriots, baby.
Yeah, look at the Patriots alum getting it done. But yeah, I don't expect either of these teams to have great seasons. I think the Broncos are going to be better than the Raiders as a whole.
I expect that too. So I picked them to win, but I'm not super shocked that the Raiders won. Like,
me either.
Jimmy G, he's not... I wouldn't put him in the elite category, but he's a quarterback that can get it done,
Yeah, for sure.
All right, on to Packers and Bears. So the Packers just continue to own the Bears under the Jordan Love era.
Yeah. This game started off like pretty close, and then the Packers kind of blew it open.
That's kind of what I was saying. Like, I think the Bears showed some potential in the first half. Like, I think they showed enough to show that they won't be the worst team in the league again. They might still be close, but they will not be the number one draft pick again. They showed some potential in that first half. Then, the second half, they just couldn't really get anything going. The Packers were just dominating.
Yeah, I still don't know what to think of Justin Fields. He's clearly a player that's capable of insane highlight plays. I will not doubt his potential to progress as a passer, as a quarterback, but at some point we've got to start seeing it. This is, his third year now as a starter?
Something like that.
We've got to see improvement. I do think there are signs that they can be better this season, but I think it's a big win for the Packers to get confident, show that they have something there with Jordan Love, who honestly started off a little shaky and then looked really good as this game kind of progressed and was making passes. Obviously, it helps to have someone like Aaron Jones in the backfield with you. If you're a Packers fan, I think you're excited.
Yeah, that one touchdown pass to Aaron Jones was just crazy. I don't know how the Bears allow that to happen, but
I don't know either. The Bears defense is not going to be great.
No, it should not be at all. Hopefully. They're going to have to score more points if they hope to win games, because they only scored 13 points in this game until the garbage time touchdown happened.
Yeah, but no, they've got to score more. I think they can be in games and win games, but this at least, because I was thinking of putting the Bears above the Packers in my division standings predictions for a while, and this game kind of showed me I'm I stuck with Green Bay because it's not that close.
Yeah, I think this division is going to honestly be between the Packers and Lions.
Yeah, I could see that. I just kind of believed in the Vikings' talent and still being able to put up a lot of points and win games, but based on week one, the Packers look better, for sure.
I mean, the Packers look better than Lions based on week one, but I still believe that the Lions are the better team.
Me too.
All right, on to Dolphins-Chargers. Probably game of the week. I think there's not really another game that compares to this one.
No, this was a crazy game. I didn't watch it live, but I watched all the highlights.
Neither of us watched this live because our teams were playing at this time, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not paying attention to this game.
I was just keeping up with, how they show the scores under, every game. I was just looking at it there. I'm like, that Dolphins-Chargers game got it crazy, isn't it?
It was so back and forth. It felt like every time a team scored a touchdown or points to go up, the other team came right back. Insane game. Tua and the Dolphins offense, Tua and Tyreek, mainly put up crazy stat lines. They were insane.
Dude, Tua threw for almost 500 yards, which, especially in week one, that's so crazy to me.
Yeah, it's insane. Tyreek had 215 yards and 2 touchdowns.
It's against the Chargers defense, but, I mean, the Chargers secondary doesn't really have anyone other than Derwin James.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a couple plays. He made a red zone stop against them that held the Dolphins to a field goal.
Yeah, Derwin James is awesome.
Yeah, there's a reason he's the highest paid safety in the NFL.
Yeah. J.C. Jackson looked absolutely lost a couple times in this game, which is very unfortunate because he was really good when he was on the Patriots.
Yeah. I think New England just coaches their defense better too, though.
Which is totally fair. I mean, I don't think the Chargers as a whole have very good coaching. I think that's been evident in the entirety of the last couple years, the Justin Herbert era. They have talent. Herbert didn't put up any crazy stats, but he played well. Austin Eckler had a really good game. They had 3 rushing touchdowns, so they were just getting it done on the ground. I still believe in the Chargers just because of Justin Herbert and the overall offensive talent. Believe in them as to getting to the playoffs, not...
I don't know, man. I don't know if they're going to get to the playoffs, honestly.
Which is fair.
I think they'll be really close if they don't. like either way, I think they're going to be close to that 500 range. Like I could see them going 8-9 at like worst, and like 11-6 at best.
I agree with that. That's probably the right range. They have to stay healthy, and their coaching has to be competent, man. Like, I don't know.
And I can see them not making the playoffs because I think the Patriots have a real chance now since Aaron Rodgers got injured. And I've told you this like multiple times, even before the season started. I'm like, I think the Patriots are going to beat the Chargers this season. I just think they match up super well against the Chargers.
I could totally see that happening. I mean, that is just most a 2-game swing, counting the tiebreaker then.
Yeah.
So there's still the rest of the season, but I think those teams are both going to be in the running for a wild card spot.
And especially like with the Browns showing up like they did, like I throw the Browns in the mix now, so it's like I really don't know if the Chargers are going to make it or not. Like we'll know better come mid-season. We'll probably do like an updated playoff prediction and everything.
Yeah, that would be fun. We can do that for sure. The Dolphins, their defense didn't look great. They obviously went up, 34 points. Their offense looks explosive. It is going to be explosive as long as Tua stays on the field. And Tua, I don't even think is an elite talent at quarterback, but he manages that offense so well, and his accuracy.
Like, as long as he has protection,
it's great.
And with that receiving core, dude, he gets shit done.
He throws darts, and that's all you need to do when you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle as your receivers.
Dude, it was crazy to me how open Tyreek Hill was sometimes. Like I know that's just a thing with Tyreek Hill. Like he's so fast that like he just manages to get open. Like if you got enough time in the pocket, you're gonna find Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. So the Dolphins definitely look good. For me, it's just a question of can they stay healthy? How is their coaching down the stretch? Because I don't think Mike McDaniel always did a great job in late game, close game situations last year, especially once it got down to the end of the season when obviously Tua having injuries.
I was about to say Tua wasn't there though, so I think the key to this Miami team is keeping Tua healthy.
I agree for sure, but I think they can be very good as they showed in this game, which was a very fun game to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Dolphins won the division, but I feel like the Bills are going to be better than they showed Monday. That was just against an elite Jets defense. But before we get to that, this is another game that surprised me. Rams-Seahawks. I was shocked with the outcome of this game. I picked the Seahawks to win. I expected it to be much closer than it was. Mm-hmm. And the Seahawks, they didn't score a single point in the second half, did they? They were up 13-7 at halftime. And then they lost the game 30-13. I don't know what happened. I watched the highlights of this game, and I don't know. It kind of just looked like Geno Smith wasn't the Geno Smith from last season in that second half.
Yeah, which I've said I believe in the Seahawks to be a playoff team in the NFC and have a solid year. But Geno, that's with the assumption of Geno Smith playing at a level that's comparable to last year.
Yeah.
And based on this game, that is absolutely not what we saw. They have talent. I still think Pete Carroll is a good coach, even though he's up there in age. This was just weird to me because Cooper Kupp wasn't playing. The Rams have aging stars. There's a lot of questions about their success this year, and they came out and just really dominate in the second half what we all believe to be a good football team.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I did say I expected the Rams to be better than they were last season, but I don't expect them to be among the best teams in the NFL. I think I did have them making the playoffs as the 7 or 6 seed, and I had the Seahawks as the other. So I had both these teams making the playoffs. And I could still see that happening, but Seattle's going to have to pick up the pace on offense if they want to make the playoffs again.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, maybe the Rams have something there. I mean, you get Cooper Kupp back. I still.
What is his injury, by the way?
It's I think it's a hamstring.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he should be back in a few weeks.
Yeah, well, he is on IR, which means he can't play the first 4 weeks, but he should be back pretty soon after that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Week 1's just weird with this stuff. Like, are the Rams going to be legit for the entire season? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. You can never... Like, basing stuff solely off week 1 is not something you do.
Yeah.
All right, on to the last midday game of Sunday.
Midday game.
Our two teams playing each other, the Patriots, Eagles.
This was an ugly game.
It was. It really was.
It was storming. I'm here in Boston right now. It was ugly conditions. I don't think the Eagles played their best game by any stretch of the imagination.
I think the Patriots played better than the Eagles did, and they still lost.
I agree with you. Especially if you cut out the Matt Jones, Darius Slay pick six.
If not for that pick six, they would have won the game.
Yeah. No, I think the Patriots played well. Mac looked really good, especially in that second quarter where he threw 2 touchdown passes to get them back in the game. Obviously, like you said before, the red zone offense needs to improve.
I think that last drive of the game where Mac Jones threw it to, I don't remember which receiver he threw it to. I don't think it was Kendrick Bourne. I think it was someone else.
I can't remember.
But I think it just like showed that the Patriots kind of need, like, it might have been Juju. I don't know. But they kind of need like an elite receiver to make big moments like that, because if he would have kept his feet inbounds, it would have been a first down, and that would have been huge. But it also showed that like Philly's defense, very capable. You know, he pushed him out of bounds before that other foot got down.
Not to mention our rookie Jalen Carter getting a sack on that drive, which was huge because the Patriots were walking right down, and that kind of stopped all the momentum and led to that fourth down play.
And I don't remember if it was it might have been late third quarter or sometime in the fourth, but Fletcher Cox made a huge play. Like he was kind of silent up until that point, and even the guys on commentary said, well, Fletcher Cox knows when it's time to play. He's getting up there in age, so like he's got to save some of that energy for those big moments.
You got to pick your spots when you're getting up there in age. But I thought our defensive line showed up when it mattered. I would have liked to see more consistent pressure than we got. But as a whole, I think our defense played well. I think the Pats defense played better. This game made me slightly worried about our new offensive coordinator, because I thought the play calling was somewhat lackluster and conservative and just not what I want to see at times.
The Eagles' offense didn't have a single touchdown in this game, did they?
No, they had Jalen Hurts threw a touchdown to Devonta Smith.
Okay.
It was like in the corner, at the side of the end zone. Smitty made a toe drag catch.
Yeah, I got you.
It was after the fumble, so they had a short field.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, only one offensive touchdown, which is not great. Jalen looked fine. He made plays when he had to. I don't think it was a particularly strong game for him. I think he knows he has to be better. And the offense as a whole has to get better if we want to be a Super Bowl contender again.
Did they miss an extra point? Because I'm trying to add the score up. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, so the offensive touchdown was after the pick six, right? And then they missed the extra point, so it was only 16-0. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. I kind of stopped watching after it was 16-0 a little bit, which I was in Arkansas at the time, so I was like, yeah, I'm just going to pack right now, because I had to leave that night. I was staying to watch the Patriots and Eagles game. I was like, this game is so ugly. Then Mac Jones throws a touchdown. I'm like, oh shit. And then I just kind of start watching, and then he throws another touchdown before the half's over. I'm like, Mac's showing up right now, dude. And then the second half, he didn't really show up like that again, but he did throw another touchdown.
I don't know.
That costly holding call on that 2-point conversion. Oh, if they had converted that, it would have been a completely different game. But they got the holding call. They couldn't convert from 12 yards opposed to 2 yards.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think if, you should be optimistic about the Patriots' performance as a whole. Specifically, the defense played awesome. Mac Jones showed moments of incredible poise as a passer.
Yeah, they're better with the screenplays too than they were last season. So having Zeke there does benefit them in that. So I'm not entirely upset about the Zeke getting signed to the Patriots now. But Ramondre needs to step it up. He didn't play that well in the game.
Yeah, I was thinking I would hear his name called more, and that he really wasn't a factor. I am worried about the Eagles' offensive coordinator, but at the same time, it's week 1, and he was going up against one of the greatest defensive minds in the history of the league. And so that's
that also might be a problem with Kansas City, dude. Matt Nagy is their offensive coordinator, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that may have been part of the reason the Chiefs lost too.
Yeah, that could be it. But I wasn't too worried about us losing our offensive coordinator just because I assumed basically who stepped up was our quarterbacks coach, and I thought, hey, he's helped Jalen get through the big improvements he's had. It might work out. But I do think Shane Steichen was a great coordinator for us. He's with the Colts now, and the Colts offense looked way better than I thought they would week 1. So
yeah,
maybe that is a difference. But I still trust our talent, our team. We got to win when it mattered. Hopefully we can beat the Vikings tonight as we're recording this.
I'm hoping Jalen plays better against the Vikings because he did not look like the same Jalen Hurts from last season.
I agree with that. Part of that is maybe the weather. Part of it's the play calling. Part of it is I know Sirianni came out and said he regrets not playing starters at all in preseason because I think it was clear there was rust with the starters, Jalen Hurts especially.
Yeah.
So that can be part of it.
And it's also the Patriots defense, like top 5 defense in the league. So to be fair to Jalen there.
Yeah.
I was really terrified when they went for it on 4th and 2. I was like, I swear to God, Patriots, if you don't get the stop, I'm going to be so upset. Watch Jalen. He's going to run this shit. And they got him.
Yeah.
And
just QB sneaked it for 2 yards.
Yeah, with the way the Eagles QB sneak, they probably could have pushed in 2 yards, dude.
Yeah. I mean, when your QB squat's 600 pounds, your QB sneak is pretty effective.
It's probably over 600 pounds.
Yeah.
Like 2 of those guys are 600 pounds.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, well, sticking with the NFC East. Cowboys, Giants. Oh, man. I think a lot of people are honestly going to blow this loss for the Giants out of proportion. It was a bad loss, but I don't think the Giants are that bad. Like, I don't expect them. I don't expect them to be as good as they were last season, but I still expect them to like be mediocre, not bad.
I expected them to be pretty much the same as they were last season. Darren Waller is already having injury problems though that are potentially persisting. I think it's a hamstring thing as well, which he had trouble with last year.
And like the strong point of the Giants last season with their defense too, like a lot of the points scored in this game came from the Giants offense turning it over and giving the Cowboys either a short field or a defensive score. So like you can't speak to how the Giants defense played in this game. They didn't play that awful. Like Dak played pretty average. They still won by 40 points.
Yeah. No, I mean the Cowboys defense dropped 35 to 40 fantasy points.
Bro, the Giants just could not hold on to the fucking ball, dude. Like, Saquon fumbled it 2 or 3 times. Daniel Jones, I'm pretty sure, fumbled it once or twice.
4 or 5 fumbles.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, dude.
Crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it's a good win for the Cowboys. I think you still need to see your offense play a bit more of a standard game to see what's there. But we knew that defense was going to be really good. It looks really good. Part of it's the Giants just making mistakes and not playing that well. But I still don't, I mean, the Cowboys for me is just a thing where I fully trust that they're going to have a really good regular season. I think
they usually do.
Talented. I'm not going to believe it until I see it in the playoffs with them. So,
they haven't made an NFC championship since Big E and Tupac were alive, man. That says a lot.
It does say a lot, for sure.
All right, so last game of Week 1, Bills-Jets. This game was insane on all fronts. Aaron Rodgers goes down like after he only took 4 snaps? Yeah. 4th snap of the game, he goes down. We figure out the next day that it is a torn Achilles, which really sucks. It really does.
Yeah, he's done for the year. some people were saying it could be the end of his career, like he could just retire.
Do you really see Aaron Rodgers ending his career with that, though? I do not. Aaron Rodgers is not one of those guys.
I don't either. He's one of those people who I feel like has a strong desire to go out on his own terms.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be back, but it does suck. Even if you're not a Jets or big Aaron Rodgers fan, I'm not either. I've been critical of Aaron Rodgers in the past couple of years.
I'm obviously not a Jets fan. I'm a Patriots man, but yeah, it sucks just as a fan of football.
And it was kind of like the big story of this year was Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets getting their quarterback, and now that's just gone. The Jets still won this game,
which is insane.
Which is crazy.
Did you watch this game live?
I watched the first half live. Yeah.
Well, I watched all of it, and I watched the Manning cast because that's just what I'm going to do on Mondays.
That's just better. Yeah.
And the whole game, Peyton and Eli were saying, "Passed it to Garrett Wilson," and then once Zach Wilson finally passed it to Garrett Wilson in the end zone, and he comes down with that ball, that was an insane catch. That
catch was absurd. Garrett Wilson's really, really good.
I was like, "Oh my god, he caught that, dude!"
Yeah. No, Ohio State has turned out like some of the best receiving talent from any college in like a 5-year span recently. Because Garrett Wilson comes from there. Chris Olave on the Saints, who's really good, comes from there. The Seahawks drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba. They have still on the Ohio State roster Marvin Harrison Jr., who looks insane. Like, I think he's going to be one of the best receivers in the league pretty much as soon as he comes in.
I wonder if the Colts are going to draft him.
That would be so sick. I would love that.
They're probably going to have a low draft pick, so they'll have a good chance to.
Yeah. He's going to be really good. But no, Garrett Wilson's an awesome player. The Jets defense played maybe even better than some of us expected. We all knew it was going to be great. But part of this is I think Josh Allen just had a bad game.
It is against probably the best defense in the league. But, yeah, I wouldn't take much. Like, if you're a Bills fan, I wouldn't take that loss to heart. Like, they didn't score a single point. Or, no, they only scored a field goal. Yeah, they scored the field goal in the fourth quarter to take it into overtime. But before that, they didn't score a single point in the second half, which, that's kind of a yikes, especially when they scored 13 in the first half. I don't know. The Jets defense just kind of showed up in the second. I don't know if they were like, we got to win this game for Aaron or what, or for New York, because the Giants lost so bad the night before. They're like, we got to fucking win this game, guys.
Yeah, we got to do it for New York. I mean, it's on 9/11. Like, we got to represent. But, no, it clearly sucks that Aaron Rodgers is hurt. That obviously takes the Jets out of Super Bowl contention for this season.
Yeah,
I still think
I could still see them maybe making the playoffs. It's a toss up. It's a toss up now. Like with Aaron Rodgers, I would have said it was a definite, but now it's like I don't know.
Yeah, I think they're going to be competitive. They're going to be in games. That division's going to be tight still, but they could make the playoffs. They could not. Definitely no deep playoff run. It'll be interesting to see if they ride with Zach Wilson or if they try and sign or trade for a quarterback. Like Carson Wentz is still available.
Yeah. Breece Hall, back from injury though, that dude went off. He popped off, man. He had two really long runs. He had what, a 40-yard rush and then I don't know. It was like a 20-plus.
60-yard rush.
Yeah, I think he has like a 20-plus yard rush, and then he had the 5-yard rush. I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
This dude gets free, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I'm happy he's back from injury. There were a lot of good running backs last year, rookie running backs that kind of had injury problems later on in the year. So
then
good to see him back.
In overtime, the Jets won the game from that punt return to the house, which was insane.
That's such an absurd way to win the game. Their coach, Robert Saleh, literally comes running onto the field and basically hugs the return man.
Yeah, it was insane. Because, like, when it went into overtime, I kind of, like, had that eye roll moment. Like, it's been a pretty fun game to watch, aside from the Rodgers injury. Because, like, you don't expect it to be close after that, especially since they're already losing. And, the Jets bring it back. They're up by 3. Then the Bills kick a field goal, take it into overtime. And it's like, overtime game. Of course, we got to have one of these in week 1. You know, we can't wait. Yeah. We can't have a week without an overtime game. But then, like, the Bills get their possession. It's like a 3-and-out. They punt it away, and then it's over. I'm like, holy shit. that was crazy.
It was crazy. I watched the highlights when I woke up in the morning. It's a cool win for the Jets to get it without Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, there's a lot of, like, sadness and, like, that just sucks. I think Garrett Wilson said, like, Rodgers told him, he said, "I'm sorry, kid," after he tore it, which is, like, so sad to me. I'm like, God.
Like, he went to check on him at halftime, and that was Aaron Rodgers' response was just that, "I'm sorry, kid." That's kind of heartbreaking, man.
It is heartbreaking. Like, it's not Aaron Rodgers' fault, but, like, it still sucks, because that was going to be...
Yeah, they need to get rid of artificial turf. That's who I blame. It's artificial fucking turf, man.
Dude, fuck MetLife Stadium. The artificial turf, just every time anyone plays there, there's injuries. It's stupid.
It's so stupid. But that was week 1. It was pretty crazy as week 1 usually it is. You like it. It's hard to predict week 1. You don't know what teams are going to be completely, and a lot of teams show up when you don't really expect them to. A lot of teams don't show up when you expect them to. Talking to you, Bengals.
Yeah.
And Buffalo, even. Like, Buffalo, that second half looked so ugly.
Yeah. It was just a weird, I don't know, a lot of teams looked kind of pedestrian or mediocre this week.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of teams that looked, like, great. There were only a couple. A handful.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I'm just happy to have football back. It was awesome watching the games. Can't wait for this next week. Jaguars Chiefs is going to be a good game. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I don't know if Kelsey's playing or not, but...
I don't know either. I'm assuming he's going to play because they were talking about him gutting it out for the first game.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't ruled out until the day of the game for that, so I'm assuming he'll play.
I think it's going to be very important if he does or does not for Kansas City.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, well, we'll talk about week 2 after it's over. But that was week 1. So we're looking forward to week 2. But we'll be back next time with some more football. Yeah, going back into hibernation in these trees of Arrowhead Stadium. We probably won't be here next week. We'll be at some other stadium.
We'll be somewhere different. Yeah.